Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone who's just joined us. Please do kindly make your way to your seats. We'll be starting shortly. And to all our guests online, once again, welcome to the official launch of DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022, which shall take place momentarily. Please sit back, relax, grab a beverage of your choosing as you enjoy this view of all of us gathered here today. Of course, everyone is observing the SOPs in place, face masks are on at all times, and we are physically distanced. To all of you at home, we look forward to seeing you live at DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022 in March. On that note, I want to kindly remind all guests inside the hall that during this event, we will strongly be enforcing all SOPs, so please do have your face masks on at all times. Also, during the arrival of the Honorable Minister, please do kindly rise to welcome them. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence, and Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, accompanied by Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conference Sendirian Berhad, and our other dignitaries. Kindly remain standing in honor of the national anthem of Malaysia, the Negaraku. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Do kindly be seated. Before we proceed this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Jihadi bin Ahmad to lead us in the recitation of the Dua.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم إنك خلاق العظيم إنك سميع عليم إنك غفور رحيم إنك رب العرش العظيم اللهم لك الحمد ولك الشكر ya Rabb. Allahumma ya Allah, dengan lafaz bismillah kami mulakan hari kami, dengan lafaz alhamdulillah kami mensyukuri segala nikmat-Mu, dengan lafaz na'udzubillah kami memohon perlindungan-Mu, dan dengan lafaz subhanallah kami semua mengagungkan kebesaran-Mu. Allahumma ya munzilar rahmah wa ya fatihal barakah, ya Allah, Engkau curahkanlah belas ihsan-Mu kepada kami semua sempena acara pelancaran rasmi pameran Defence Services Asia DSA dan National Security Asia Natsec 2022 pada petang yang berkah ini. Semoga diiringi kami sekaliannya dengan keberkatan dan kerahmatan dari-Mu ya Azim. Allahumma ya Rahman ya Rahim, jadikanlah majlis pelancaran serta pameran DSA dan Natsec Asia 2022 pada tahun hadapan sebagai satu dorongan dan rangsangan untuk kami menabur bakti bekerja dengan sepenuh hati. Jadikan jua ya Allah, akan anugerahikanlah jua ya Allah keselamatan dan kejayaan di dalam pameran yang akan dilaksanakan. Allahumma ya farijal hammi wa ya kashifal gham, sekiranya Engkau anugerahkan kami dengan kejayaan dan kecemerlangan, jadikanlah kami di kalangan hamba-Mu yang bersyukur. Andainya cabaran dan ujian yang kami terima, jangan biarkan kami terputus dari rahmah-Mu ya Allah, supaya kami terus bangun, bangkit, serta korbankanlah semangat kami agar terus berusaha mencapai kejayaan di dalam merealisasikan impian kami. Allahu ya dzal jalali wal ikram, tanamkanlah sifat-sifat terpuji dalam diri kami agar budaya kerja berkualiti menjadi amalan kami. Kurniakanlah ya Allah apa kiranya kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecerdasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, dan kekuatan semangat. Semoga dengannya kami mampu mendepani cabaran, berdaya saing untuk terus berusaha menabur bakti, menggenggam iltizam demi meniti wawasan suci menggapai matlamat yang diciptakan. Allahumma antas salam wa minkas salam. Kami juga mohon padamu yang azim agar diselamatkan kami dan negara kami dari sebarang musibah dan bala bencana, jua penyakit-penyakit yang membahayakan kami, khususnya COVID-19 ini ya Allah. Lenyapkanlah ianya ya Qadir dari bumi kami ini agar dapat kami menabur khidmat bakti kami dengan lebih sempurna. Allahumma inna na'udzubika minal baras wal jununi wal judham wa min sayyi'il asqam. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Jihadi bin Ahmad, for leading us in the recitation of the dua. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Iqmal Hisham bin Abdulaziz, Deputy Minister of Defence. Yang berbahagia Dato Seri Muaz bin Abdulaziz, Secretary General to the Ministry of Defence. Yang berbahagia Dato Wan Ahmad Dahlan bin Haji Abdulaziz, Secretary General to the Ministry of Home Affairs. Yang berbahagia General Tan Sri Dato Sri Haji Effendi bin Buang, Chief of the Defence Force. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conference in Dewan Berhad. Distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Thank you for joining us as we look forward to the 17th edition of Defence Services Asia DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. DSA 2022 promises to be yet another high-profile showcase of some of the world's most sophisticated hardware and electronic warfare on land, air, sea, and even in the cyber domain. Held concurrently with the DSA 2022 will be the National Security Asia 2022 or Natsec Asia 2022, an international exhibition on national security for Asia, which covers law enforcement, homeland security, and border control. On that note, and to deliver the welcome remarks, allow me to now invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conference, Sendirian Berhad, to kindly take the stage.
Yang berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Iqmal Hisham bin Abdul Aziz, Deputy Minister of Defence. Yang berbahagia Dato Seri Muaz bin Abdul Aziz, Secretary General, Ministry of Defence. Yang berbahagia Datuk Wan Ahmad Dahlan bin Haji Abdul Aziz, Secretary General Ministry of Home Affairs. Yang berbahagia General Tan Sri Datuk Seri Haji Effendi bin Buang, TUDM, Chief of Defence Force. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera, and good afternoon. I wish to bid everyone a warm welcome to the official launch of 17th edition of Defence Services Asia, or DSA 2022, and the second edition of the National Security Asia, or Natsec Asia 2022. On behalf of the organizers, I extend our gratitude for your presence here and for your support. I especially would like to thank Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein for his presence here, which makes this event more meaningful. Dato Seri, you have always been giving your full support to the DSA series. And we are certainly glad to see you back helming the post of Defence Minister once again. We look forward to more support from you, sir. I would also like to recognize the presence of Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah Zainuddin, the Minister of Home Affairs. Thank you, sir, for your presence today. We look forward to your support from the Ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and joy for me to stand here once again to initiate what I'm confident will be another exceptional edition of this highly anticipated event, DSA 2022 and Natsec 2022. The first DSA, as some of you will know, was held back in 1988, 33 years ago to be sure. At that time, the show saw the participation of some 394 companies from 27 countries across an exhibition space of 6,000 square meters. It was at that time a pioneering large-scale event. Over the next 3 decades, this event has gone on to achieve great success, garnering and drawing attention from organizations, agencies, and world government and leaders, military leaders, to become one of the top defense and security shows in the world. The last time this show was held, in 2018, the 16th installation of DSA saw the participation of 1,300 companies from 60 countries, covering the size of 22,000 square meters. In fact, that event marked a series of firsts for us, not least it being held in MyTech, the Malaysian International Trade and Exhibition Center, which was newly built. And it also was the initiation of the first ever Natsec Asia, National Security Asia. Since those two events, we have received many positive feedback, not only from participating delegations and organizations, but from leaders of governments and agencies who have looked forward to the next DSA 2020 and Natsec 2020. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak has affected almost every country in the world, in fact, the whole world. And we have to postpone and to forego what would have been the event in 2020. It was a very tough and difficult decision for us to make, but I think all things considered, very necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, this makes today's event, launching event, so much more meaningful. For me, to be able to stand here today, marking the initiation of what we hope will be DSA 2022 and Natsec 2022. DSA 2022 is expected, God willing, inshallah, to be the biggest show in this series yet. We are anticipating more than 40,000 trade visitors from more than 50 countries and regions, as well as more than 350 foreign VVIPs, delegations from 45 countries and regions, including ministers and deputy ministers, secretary generals, chiefs of defense forces, inspector generals of police, chiefs of army, navy, air force, chiefs of staff, director generals of customs, maritime agency, immigration, intelligence and health, joint force commanders and heads of security agencies. DSA 2022 and Natsec 2022 will also witness the participation of more than 1,000 companies to display the most sophisticated hardware and electronics of land, sea and air that the world has seen. This will include cutting-edge technology in the realms of cyber domains, border protection, citizen identification, artificial intelligence, battlefield healthcare, training and simulation systems, police and homeland security peripherals, as well as protection systems of critical assets. As in previous installments, DSA 2022 will see the return of a number of special features and new ones as well in terms of conferences, fora, and contract signings, international pavilions, business matching events and demonstrations of CTF cyber war games, unmanned systems and combat artificial intelligence. And following the successful initiation of Natsec 2018, DSA 22 will itself see the return of this highly pioneering event, which has shown great potential for growth. In this regard, I would like to acknowledge our sincere thanks and appreciation to several entities without whose support this DSA series wouldn't be what it is today. Firstly, our thanks and appreciation go out to the Malaysian Ministry of Defence, MINDEF, which have over the years worked hand in hand with us to make DSA a global success. Our thanks and appreciation also go out to the Malaysian Ministry of Home Affairs. Indeed, their close cooperation and full support for more than 3 decades has contributed greatly to DSA and more recently Natsec. I also recognize the contribution of the Malaysian Armed Forces, the Malaysian Defence Force, the Royal Malaysian Police, the Immigration and Customs Departments, and the Malaysian Defence Industry Council, who have in their own way played an integral role in the growth of DSA over the years. It is through their continued support and backing that we continue to grow and hopefully to greater heights. Finally, I have to recognize my own DSA team for their continuing unwavering strength and resilience and their tremendous efforts to put together what I hope will be DSA 2022 and Natsec 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not speak long, but I'll take this opportunity again to welcome all of you and thank you sincerely for your presence today. Enjoy the rest of the program and have a great day ahead and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conference, Sindhu and Berhad. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to invite to the stage Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, to deliver his address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam bahagia. Terence, thank you. Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Ikmal Hisham bin Abdul Aziz, Deputy Minister of Defence. Yang bahagia Datuk Seri Muiz bin Abdul Aziz, Secretary General of Ministry of Defence, Bahagia Dato' Wan Ahmad Dahlan bin Haji Abdul Aziz, Secretary General Ministry of Home Affairs, Bahagia General Tan Sri Dato' Haji Effendi bin Buang, Chief of Defence Force, Bahagia Tan Sri Ahmad Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conference in Berhad, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to be here to witness and officiate the launch of the second National Security Asia, or Natsec 2022. On behalf of the Ministry of Home Affairs, allow me to firstly congratulate the organizers for initiating the second edition of this world-class exhibition alongside Defence Services Asia 2022. I truly understand that it is certainly not easy putting together an international event of this caliber and magnitude, especially during a raging pandemic. However, I'm confident that as part of a concerted and wholehearted effort, we can put on another great event next year. As they say, the show must go on. In fact, the issue of national security is crucially important. During a pandemic such as COVID-19, which increases global instability in many ways, this instability can give rise to many complex security threats, such as amplified risk factors for radicalization and violent extremism, cyber attacks, and border security issues. Meanwhile, other traditional and non-traditional threats, both internal and external, continue to loom, such as human trafficking, cross-border and organized crime, smuggling of dangerous goods, and piracy. The current situation is more complex than ever. No country in the world is exempted from these threats in its efforts to ensure the security of the nation and its people. In today's global village, we simply cannot afford to deal with these challenges in our own silos. Modern security challenges demand strategic cooperation at the global level, warranting transnational responses. International collaboration, cooperation, and synergy between nations are crucial in addressing critical issues. Nations need to work in solidarity to develop long-term views and solutions, using creative and dynamic ideation, utilizing the latest advancements in science and technology, instead of simply flexing knee-jerk reactions. In this regard, the Ministry of Home Affairs is glad to endorse events such as DSA and Natsec. Although still in its infancy, Natsec is set to become a dedicated national security show by leveraging on DSA's globally recognized VIP delegation management system. With high-quality delegations delivered throughout the duration of the event, Natsec will once again shed light on regional and international issues and establish mutually beneficial collaborations in the interest of advancing national and international security. I understand that in 2018, the inaugural Natsec presented an array of state-of-the-art exhibits available in the security sector, covering solutions and technology catered for police forces, fire and rescue departments, immigrations, customs, border safety, and prisons. The event also saw the participation of top-level delegates from around the world, including my counterparts, Inspector Generals of Police, as well as Director Generals of Customs, Immigrations, Maritime and Enforcement Agencies, Security Intelligence, Prisons, Fire and Rescue Departments, together with their representative. From 28 to 31st March 2022, the crème de la crème in the global security fraternity will once again throng the halls of MITEC Kuala Lumpur. I understand that more than 100 companies from around the world have already conveyed their interest to participate, bearing testament to the allure and benefits of the show. Congratulations to the organizers. These companies, leaders and pioneers in their respective fields, will display hardware sophistications, electronics, systems and solutions for the security industry, including areas such as policing and seaports and airport security, maritime platforms, as well as training simulation systems. Given the top-notch caliber of this event, I believe the time will come in the near future when Natsec will go on to become a global national security event in its own right. I hope you don't mind, Dato Seri Hishammuddin. I therefore encourage anyone and everyone in the regional and global security field to make full use of all that Natsec has to offer. It is undoubtedly the biggest and most efficiently organized defense and homeland security show in Asia, and invaluable platform for top defense and security organizations. With access to top-level government officials, chief of services, international delegations, and key decision makers, participating companies will have the golden opportunity to be visible and reach major defense contractors, partners, suppliers, agents, and other stakeholders. Together, let's make this a great show. On behalf of the Ministry of Home Affairs, I would like to extend every cooperation and assistance to ensure that Natsec 2022 will once again be a roaring success. I hereby officiate Natsec Asia 2022 and congratulate again the organizers. Thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, and thank you, Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs. Also igniting the spirit of healthy competition there between Natsec and DSA. And without further ado, it is now my great pleasure to invite Senior Minister of Defense, Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, to kindly take the stage and deliver his address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berhormat and my brother Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs. Bila you tulis ke belakang tadi, I thought you wanted me to give my speech together with you. That's how close we are. Yang berhormat Dato Seri Ikmal Hisham bin Abdul Aziz, Deputy Minister of Defence, Dato Seri Muiz bin Abdul Aziz, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defence, Yang berbahagia Dato Wan Ahmad Dahlan bin Haji Abdul Aziz, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Yang berbahagia General Tan Sri Dato Sri Haji Effendi bin Buang, Chief of Defence Force, Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin, Chairman of DSA Exhibition and Conferences, Sdn Berhad, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to welcome all of you here, as well as those watching this event virtually all over the world. Thank you for inviting me to launch the 17th Defence Service Asia Exhibition and Conference, DSA 2022, which will be held in Kuala Lumpur next year from the 28th to the 31st of March 2022. It makes me even happier to be able to attend this launch with Dato Sri Hamzah. Believe it or not, this is the first official function that we have attended together. And I think I'm not exaggerating when I say that in the presence of the Minister of Defence and the Home Minister with you today, people in this hall will probably be the safest and secured people in the whole of Malaysia right now. Maybe for only 2 hours during this function. But it has certainly been a long 4 years since the last edition of the Defence Service Asia Exhibition and Conference held in 2018. Since the early days of DSA, we heard from Tan Sri Asmat tadi, we at the Ministry of Defence have worked hand in hand with the organizers to make this a world-renowned defence event. And once again, MINDEF is proud to lend our support behind such a prestigious event. Having been closely involved personally with the 2014, 2016, 2018 installations of DSA, I am proud to see how much the DSA have grown from strength to strength. And the same applies for Natsec. And I would really like to see Natsec stand alone. And if there's anything that MINDEF or myself could do to make sure that happens, you have my full commitment, Dato Hamzah. But don't forget that when you are standing alone, don't forget to invite me at your launch as well. DSA has proven to be more. Why do we want these two exhibitions to be an integral part of the global landscape? Because exhibitions like this has proven to be more than just an exhibition and a conference. It is an invaluable platform in bringing together not only various industry leaders, but bringing together governments, military, defense, and security agencies across the region and across the world for the purpose of forging mutual trust and collaboration between all parties. Personally, I look forward to strengthening relations and cooperation with our existing allies, as well as continuing existing relations while at the same time fostering new ones. And the theme for DSA 2022 advancing into a new era of defense and security, could not be more apt to comprehensively portray the tremendous role this event plays in putting Malaysia on the international defense map, especially, as what Dato Seri Hamzah said, at a time when we are all transitioning into the post-pandemic era. Undeniably, we are living in unprecedented times. Uncertainty is now the new norm, brought forward by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic nearly 2 years ago. We have witnessed how the pandemic has brought governments down to their knees, regardless of their status, regardless of their size and wealth, regardless of their security agencies and militaries, threatening to tear at the very fabric of our societies. Even today, new variants of the virus are emerging, such as the Omicron variant of concern, VOC, that have again forced nations into a state of heightened alert, just as we thought we could reopen safely. The virus has disrupted every aspect of our lives, and the defense and security industry, ladies and gentlemen, has not been spared. Just for example, at the height of the pandemic, we had to rethink our approach in safely conducting military-to-military cooperation, such as joint exercises and trainings. Disruption to the global supply chain has also had dire impacts on our economies. And we had to re-evaluate, and I believe the same for the Ministry of Home, our priorities, especially on how we approach defense and security assets, looking at the constraints that we face post-pandemic 19. This is why it is important that DSA continues next year, albeit safely in a new normal, as it provides a solid and credible platform for various governments and military outfits to come together and strengthen relations, especially in these uncertain times. In my personal experience, meeting my counterparts from around the world, there can be no substitute for face-to-face meetings. There is only so much that we can achieve through video conferencing and virtual summits. The only way forward is to come to terms with the reality that the virus is here to stay. We must learn to live with the virus. As we take a careful and safe approach, I applaud the organizers for taking the initiative to run DSA and Natsec Asia as a hybrid event, a historic first since the inception of the series. In keeping with the new norms, advancement of technological and connectivity, DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022 will be complemented by a virtual platform as a value-added component to help participants access the contents before, during, and after the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, while the world is focused on COVID, we must never forget at the same time about the security issues that have appeared somewhat to take a back seat, deceiving us with a false sense of security. Traditional security issues, such as terrorism, as well as other non-traditional threats and transboundary crimes, continue despite the pandemic, presenting an ever clear and present danger to countries around the globe. As the pandemic has shown us, there is a strong need to bolster international cooperation at various levels to effectively tackle current global defense and security related issues. So, ladies and gentlemen, given the greater prominence and emphasis on security, and notwithstanding the financial constraints that we have been faced due to the pandemic, we, the government of Malaysia, has continued to give focus and emphasis in our 12th Malaysian Plan, and even slightly increased the Malaysian's defense budget in Budget 2022. All this shows that government's commitment to national security and defense of our nation. This is to help tackle the uncertainties looming in traditional and non-traditional security threats made even more complex by the pandemic. But the government, Dato Sri Hamzah and I, can only do so much. But a gathering of stakeholders that are responsible to carry the burden to look into security and defense as what we are trying to do today is even more urgent and pertinent as we try and ensure that notwithstanding the COVID landscape, the show must go on. And DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022, in all its glory, in all its challenges, facing a landscape that is still uncertain, with the right leadership and the political commitment and the right participation of the people who are going to be involved in what we are launching today, inshallah, I feel that we will be able to put what we are planning here back on the global map. And that in itself will position Malaysia as a nation and the two ministries as critical limbs to the government when it comes to security and defense in a very strategic position. That is why, notwithstanding today is a holiday, both Dato Sri Hamzah and I did not fail you by surfacing and supporting what we are doing today. This is our promise to each and every one of you today. Finally, it is my sincere hope that DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022 will achieve great strides in promoting the local defense and security industry. And with this launch, I would really urge all the organizers and all the stakeholders to really look at what we are facing with the pandemic as an opportunity. Because there's a saying in Asia that in any crisis, there are always opportunities. So it is up to us to find, with this launch today, what are the opportunities that we can find with regards to what we have achieved over the years, but with the present landscape that we face, I'm sure we will be able to rise above it and see it as an opportunity to bring what we have achieved this far to even greater heights. Jadi dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby officiate the 17th Defence Service Asia Exhibition and Conference and wish all participants the very best. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. We'd like to invite you, sir, to kindly remain on stage as I now invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin to accompany Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, to join Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein on stage for the launch. Distinguished guests, members of the media, please do be mindful of the social distancing and please do be in place for the launch. This is a motion capture based launch and there will be no physical contact with any launch device. On that note, I would like to invite first Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin to initiate the first part of the launch by swiping up on a count of 3, sir. 1, 2, 3. Next, I would like to invite Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein to complete the launch by swiping back, moving the entire sequence to the main screen on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. To seeing you there. Thank you, Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. Thank you, Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, for officially launching ESA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. I would now like to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin to present a memento of our sincere appreciation. First to Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence. And a memento to Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs. Thank you, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri, for presenting the mementos. I would like to invite all our distinguished guests to kindly return to their seats. I guess the media want one final group photograph. Okay, sure. Hang on tight, members of the media. Let's have one final photograph with Yang Berhormat. And let's have one final photograph with all our guests in front. I would like to invite all dignitaries to kindly join our distinguished guests for one final photograph on stage. as we invite all guests to kindly be on stage. Most of the members on stage, ladies and gentlemen, are part of the organizing committee for DSA and Natsec Asia. We'd like to invite everyone to kindly space out a little, to observe a little bit of physical distancing between them. Gentlemen. Officially, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the launch of DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. Once again, thank you Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hishammuddin Hussein. Thank you Yang Berhormat Dato Seri Hamzah bin Zainuddin. Thank you to all the distinguished guests on stage, many of whom you will be very familiar with moving forward as they are part of the organizing committee. I would like to invite everyone to kindly return to their seats for the next part of the event. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you who are viewing this experience at home, we'd like to direct your attention to the screens as we will be introducing you to some very hardworking individuals tasked with putting this event together. So on that note, I'd like to invite everyone to kindly be seated as we will be introducing you to the organizing committee who will be tasked with putting together DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. We'd like to invite all guests to kindly be seated as we introduce you to the organizing committee. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attentions once again to the main screen.
Dato Sri Muaz bin Abdulaziz, Secretary General, Ministry of Defence. Dato Tuan Ahmad Dahlan bin Haji Abdulaziz, Secretary General, Ministry of Home Affairs. General Tan Sri Dr. Sri Haji Effendi bin Buang, Chief of Defence Force, Malaysian Armed Forces. Opening and Bracing Ceremony Secretariat. Reception and Contract Secretariat. Logistics Support Secretariat. State Guest Secretariat. Conference and Recreation Secretariat. Security Secretariat. Commerce and Industries Secretariat. Main Secretariat.
Faces on stage earlier, ladies and gentlemen, were also part of the committee as we look forward to a successful organization of DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. We are proud to announce that we already have confirmed exhibitors who will be part of the event. On that note, we once again direct your attention to the screen as we introduce you to not only our confirmed exhibitors, but also the various country pavilions in place. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's take a look.
Here are the DSA and Natsec Asia 2022 confirmed country group pavilion. Australia Pavilion, Azerbaijan Pavilion, Canada Pavilion, China Pavilion, Czech Republic Pavilion, France Pavilion, Germany Pavilion, Italy Pavilion, Norway Pavilion, Slovakia Pavilion, Republic of Korea Pavilion, Switzerland Pavilion, Turkey Pavilion, UK Pavilion, USA Pavilion, the Netherlands Pavilion, Ukraine Pavilion. These are the DSA and Natsec Asia 2022 confirmed exhibitors. See you next year at DSA and Natsec Asia 2022.
We look forward to seeing you there, ladies and gentlemen, from the 28th to the 31st of March 2022, MyTech, Kuala Lumpur. Thank you very much for your kind attendance here. We'd like to invite our audience to please remain seated. On that note, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Asmat Kamaluddin to accompany Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence, and Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, to the press conference room. Once again, we'd like to thank Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hishammuddin Tun Hussein, Senior Minister of Defence, and Yang Berhormat Dato Sri Hamzah bin Zainuddin, Minister of Home Affairs, for officially launching DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. To all other guests, please kindly remain in the hall momentarily. Members of the media, please kindly make your way to the stateroom for the press conference. And finally, to all other guests, you will be accompanied to the Esther room at the lobby level for lunch or high tea. Please do kindly allow our ushers to show you the way. And to our guests viewing this experience on Facebook Live as well as the DSA Zoom channels, we'd like to thank you for joining us here virtually, and we look forward to seeing you at DSA 2022 and Natsec Asia 2022. Thank you very much for being a part of this event, and we hope you stay safe wherever you may be.